for the reasons listed. Cluny Rural Fire Protection Association Limited gave notice to terminate the joint fire service agreement in December 2017. As part of the asset transfer process from the Cluny Rural Fire Protection Association to Wheatland County, the county conducted our inspection of the Cluny Fire Hall, equipment, vehicles, apparatus, and PPE, which revealed OH&S violations of county standard operation guidelines. Fire department building, what's that word there? Condition was so poor that the building had to be closed for safety reasons. Cluny Fire Department equipment, apparatus, vehicles, and PPE, will be remediated and used to provide fire protection services in the Cluny area to Gleason via Gleason Fire Department under the direction of Fire Chief Ron Welcher. Further, that the this is the fast one that was really.
That should be a second motion.
Okay.
Okay, that's first motion. Any questions?
Be my guest. I should have wrote it down.
No other questions? All in favor? Carried.
I move also that effective immediately, fire protection service for the Cluny Fire District will be provided via the Gleason Fire Department under the direction of Fire Chief Ron Welcher.
Okay. Any questions? All in favor?
Through the chair, just as a friendly amendment, could there be something in there added that it's what the Cluny is amalgamated with Gleason Fire Protection is there, but there's also mutual aid with the other departments. That makes sense to have, so that it's clear that there's still mutual aid with the other departments to help in that area. No?
It's already in place because Gleason Fire.
I know. I know.
I don't think we have to worry about that because I don't think we need to worry about that because Gleason is taking operational control of Cluny until we have direction from bylaw 2807. So until bylaw 2807 is passed, it's just Gleason. And then once there's a new fire district, I think you'd have to relook at the mutual aid. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we'll add it in there. I'd accept your amendment.
Yeah. With add in that mutual aid is still in force. Keep it as simple as that.
Good luck.
Okay. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. So, Joanne, nice you come in. Are you here for anything else? Or you want to stay for lunch or?
I think that was it. I think I have to finalize the 690 submission.
Oh, well, good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. Have a good summer.
Thank you.
Okay. So we have an appointment at 11:30. Is it too soon to phone?
We can phone, or if council wants to talk to Mr. McCartney about the GFL site, Joanne, you can certainly stick around for this if you want, but.
Maybe you should stay.
No, for GFL.
Yeah. Okay. We have a phone conversation coming up, so might as well dial them up, see what happens, okay? Yeah, I seen your grandma walk out, so.
Good morning, Daryl McCartney speaking.
Morning, Daryl. It's Alan Parkin, Wheatland County, and Wheatland County Council.
Hi, Alan. Can you hear me
Good
okay?
morning. I don't know, can you hear me? I can't see anything.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you
Okay,
hear me okay?
yeah, if we could turn it up a little more, Ellen? Okay, try that, Jason. That's not Jason. Sorry. Daryl, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, that's better. Yeah, I'll just, have you got anything to say, or how'd your investigation go?
Well, I guess it was just wondering if anyone had any comments or questions regarding the draft report that I circulated. I'm not too sure. Was that circulated to council?
Yeah, we got it on our package right here.
Okay, and so I guess in a quick summary from my perspective, the key is that there's obviously been a long history of issues there that the council is probably better aware of than I. And unfortunately, the GFL didn't cooperate with the assessment, so it makes it a little bit difficult. But your staff had some good information within their files, and I was able to review some of the information there. But you can see there's kind of two steps. Well, we need to confirm that this design plan and this operation plan is still valid with the Alberta Environment and Parks, and then if so, then these are the concerns that I have. And the key is really starting to work more closely and more formally, perhaps, with the Alberta Environment and Parks around some of these issues to get answers from them that they can confirm. And these are fairly specific items that they can address. And I've listed some of them in the executive summary from kind of the highest or most important priorities down through some rather minor issues. And then within the document, there's some other minor findings as well.
Okay, any questions?
I don't have any questions, Daryl, but Scott Klassen here. Just wanted to say I really like the report. I really like all the issues that you met with the public and given us a lot.
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you. If you could either speak up or make some adjustments.
Okay, it's Scott Klassen here with Wheatland County Deputy Reeve. Just wanted to
Hi, Scott.
Hi. Just wanted to say thanks for the report. It was very thorough. I think it addressed a lot of the needs that the public had and some areas that we need to work with Alberta Environment and Parks. I don't think there's any other questions I have. I think you've addressed a lot of the concerns that the public did have. And that's all I have to say right at the time.
Any other questions? Any other questions? Sorry, couldn't hear that. Okay. Well, thanks for that, Daryl. I think everybody's appreciates your report. We have our legal counsel here too, so I don't know if there's any follow-up or anything, no?
Yeah, the only additional comment or suggestion I can make is that in situations like this, it's obviously unfortunate that the sides are in a conflict situation, and it's an odd one because you don't really have a contract where you're under dispute with someone, so you don't have any formal process to deal with this. But typically I would like to say this is unique, but it's not. And so I understand that GFL has a compost expert now assisting them with this. And when in the early stages, when you go into these discussions with Alberta Environment and Parks, and in fairness to your staff, and they mentioned this several times, it's difficult for them to critique or comment or absorb some of the comments that are coming from GFL and Alberta Environment and Parks. And so I'd be happy to serve as a technical expert in any phone calls or meetings you have with Alberta Environment, because most of this stuff is between my ears, and so I don't need much prep time. And with communication these days, either through Skype or phone calls, it wouldn't be onerous. And I think it helps to have someone, A, with the expertise in your corner, and also B, for me to understand the history and the systems within Wheatland County, so to work with your staff to help move this forward, perhaps in a little bit more expedited fashion. Because to be quite honest, it's even difficult for Alberta Environment and Parks staff to understand some of the technical implications here. And I think James Jorgensen was looking forward to having this information as well to help him focus on what maybe some of the technical issues are.
Okay, thanks for that, Daryl. We'll have to discuss it as a council and see what we're going to do to move forward and press the issue a little bit more. Any other questions? Well, thanks again, Daryl, for your work. We'll certainly take it into consideration. Have a great day.
Okay, you're welcome. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
What Daryl was talking about there with James, when I was out on site with him, it's very clear that Alberta Environment and Parks, this is not a high thing on their priority list, and they're learning as they go. So Daryl is very knowledgeable in the area. He has a lot of decent ideas that he's put up here as well. I don't really want to just accept this as information. I'd like to give some guidance to staff to follow up with the key findings that he's done and the recommendations that he's done.
Side there.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that are a lot different than I realized. There's a lot more tonnage there than what I had known before. I don't know. Of course, GFL hasn't responded to any of that. And I'd like this document public for sure. And I know it's public right now, but I'd like to have an electronic version of it so I could forward it to some other people. Just keep the information going. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, so Mr. Chairman, we can give an update on that. This has been provided to our legal counsel and to GFL through Alberta Environment, I believe. So we're endeavoring to meet with Alberta Environment on this and GFL, and it sounds like we may be able to meet. Our legal counsel has talked to the legal counsel with GFL, and it sounds like they may be willing to come to the table to discuss this. So if you can just leave it in our hands, and we'll bring back an update in August, September on where we're at with that, and perhaps just accept it as information at this time. I think we need to sit down and give them time to digest it and come back with some thoughts. I'll let our legal counsel give any further information if she wants in regards to her discussion, but I don't think there's anything else that I have.
I don't believe I have a copy of the report that you were just talking about, so I haven't had a chance to review that. However, I have been in communication with John Tidball. He is a lawyer out of Toronto, and he's GFL's lawyer out there. And we've been talking. I really like dealing with Mr. Tidball. he works a lot with these kind of facilities across Canada. He's very familiar with the type of community issues that are arising. And so he himself is quite open to talking about some practical steps that can be taken to help mitigate the issues with community, even if that goes above and beyond, you know, the what's required under provincial approvals. So we've had some discussion about some steps that may be taken by GFL that would, you know, help ensure that community concerns are being dealt with on a timely basis. But he has yet to get firm instructions from his client with respect to what they are prepared to do. So that will be the next step when he gets back to me. And one of the things following from that discussion is a potential where GFL may request council's approval to come and make a presentation to council with respect to what steps have actually been done right now at the site to help things progress towards what the actual target is, as well as to outline what GFL is prepared to do to help mitigate and address community concerns on a go-forward basis.
May I suggest when that time comes that we would ask this Mr. McCartney to come and listen? Because I'm thinking that would be prudent to hear, because I'm not an expert on any of this stuff. I don't know if anybody on staff is either. It'd be somebody to have in our corner for sure. Well, good luck. Keep us invited. So I think we need a motion, except for information, and we heard staff are going to continue on with it for sure.
So a motion to accept for information, is that going to give you what you need, Alan, to move forward?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll make that motion to accept this as information.
Okay, any questions? All in favor? Carried. Thank you.
With staff to follow up in August, right? Okay. Okay. Thanks.
It's still a work in progress. We're still be involved. Okay. 2.3A, I believe. Request for decision, draft IDP, update process, initiation letter, municipality of Foothills. Council's wishes.
I'll move that council approve the attached draft IDP update process initiation letter.
Okay, any questions? All in favor? Carried, thank you. B was off the agenda. C, terms of reference, intermunicipal development plan between Wheatland County and Rocky View County. Scott.
I'll make the motion that council approve the terms of reference for completion of an intermunicipal development plan between Wheatland County and Rocky View County.
Any questions? All in favor? Carried. And finish scheduling September meetings, committee of the whole, planning and priorities sessions. Staff have any particular dates? Is that one meeting or is that two meetings? Two?
September 12th, you want to do the planning one first? Okay, September 12th for the planning and priorities.
Okay, does anybody have any problem with that so far? Okay. And committee of the whole? 13th. Anyone have a problem with that? take a motion to accept them both. Okay, Jason's moved both meetings. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Okay. That request, that one's at 1. Reeves report. There is some on the server, I believe. If I can find it. Okay, I got a verbal report. At FCM, beginning of the month. One thing I did notice at FCM this year, the rural presence seems to be a lot stronger than, it seems to be gaining strength.
If I may jump in, it's still very urban.
It's still very urban.
Very urban.
Yeah.
I've heard it's,
Yeah. And the CSAL program, the one that I was involved with, that's this is year 5 of their 5-year program. And the future, where they're going, no one knows yet for sure. It's dependent on Global Affairs Canada. But they had some partners there. I did take in a couple of those conference sessions. They were very appreciative of what is being done, but they would like to for sure keep it continued on. I also had breakfast with the Mayor of Strathmore, and we discussed the field house and the future of it and how notifications and everything else is going to happen. And we also talked about the rec board that was at the last council meeting, and they asked for, he assured me that in the terms of reference, the county always was included. But I told them we had talked about how important it was to the county, and maybe we should have 2 and a staff member attend, and I haven't heard back anything yet either. So I'm thinking we made a motion, so we'll just have to wait and see till we go to the first meeting and see what happens. I went to I think most of us were at the Wheatland Regional Partnership at Azar, and was an extensive talk there about EMS and the delivery of dispatch and ambulance services in the county. There was a team there from AHS to listen to our concerns. Which brings me up to on the last Calgary Metropolitan Regional Board meeting, one of the things that was brought up and was talked about extensively is an advocacy committee for the board. So presently there's a land use, servicing, governance, and an advocacy board was brought up to deal with, to advocate to different levels of government the importance of different issues to the board, to the area, as well. So I guess communicate other things out that happens at the meeting. The ambulance thing was brought up again, and it talked about for half hour, 40 minutes, I believe. And the motion was brought forward that an advocacy board be brought forward, and was one of them motions where it took 2/3 and 2/3 to make it pass. It passed with a lot of talking, and I think just one municipality thought it should be ad hoc, but the rest it did pass. So there is a committee on that. So it brings me up to, I said Wheatland County would definitely be on that board, but now we should have a motion for somebody to be on that. Oh, under your report? Okay, we'll just leave that go till then. And then there was one other issue brought up at the this board and I'd like a little bit of direction on board compensation for attending these meetings at Calgary Metropolitan. Currently, the county here, we have our own per diem, right? We have our own structure. When we attend a meeting, we're compensated as such, our policy. There are people, different municipalities, every municipality has a different rate structure. So some of them just get a yearly rate, monthly rate, and they just attend the meetings that come. So this was an extra meeting for them, and there's some of them thinking they should be compensated for it through the board. Come to the governance committee, I was very vocal about not. I believe that's municipalities' responsibility. For me, it keeps it cleaner. I'm certainly not going to ask for there, and I get something from this side. That's double dipping. That's plain as can be. So they threw it back. There's a lot of unhappy people. They want this compensation. So I'm probably going to vote against it again unless this board, there was some saying, well, you can take it and make sure it gets paid to your municipality. I don't know. So I thought I'd bring it up here for sure. So am I clear enough? They want compensation. I believe we're getting it. And I've seen it happen with neighboring municipalities, and there's been people lose seats on the election over stuff like this. So is there any thoughts, or what would you like to have direction?
Yeah, I fully agree. Double dipping isn't very good. So if it does pass, I would ask that what you get paid comes back to the municipality, no matter who sits on the board or what board you sit on. If they're giving per diems when you sit on the board as well as the county, I would ask that whatever one comes back.
Do you want to make that a motion, please?
Before you do that, just some discussion on that. I think it's easy, if they're looking at doing something like that, I know there's other ones out there that are the same, and they will pay their board members. They set up their own structure to pay their board members, and the minute that happens, you pull them off, and it's not paid by this board. You only get one check. Then you don't worry about whether something's going back. If that board makes a decision to pay them, then they pay them. And they set up their own remuneration, and we have nothing to do with it. It's not being paid by this board.
Yeah, so long as
That's
we
the
stop
easiest
double
way to, that's the cleanest way to keep it. And if they're not willing to do that, then you leave it the way it is, and your board pays for your council, whoever's attending, their remuneration. But if they're setting up a policy, they pay it.
So if the board pays it, that's where I have the issue. And we have a policy here that we get our pay from here. That is my issue. I would like just to be one. I'm only going to be paid from the county, right? So if they draw up a policy, that's right, we can decline, I'm thinking, or we could.
I don't think it's the board's job to pay somebody to be there.
If the board was to ask you to be the secretary of the board or something, then that's different. Then the board's hiring you personally, right? But to attend on behalf of Wheatland County, that's Wheatland County's job to enumerate you. Or, Tom?
Okay, so can we set this up so that, I think everybody around the table here agrees that double dipping probably doesn't look good.
No.
Yeah, but if they are going to go ahead with compensation, can we, as the three members that I know of that are on this board, can we either decline our per diem from the county and allow, like, is that a doable option so that? And, but there's going to be, I mean, then it's no longer, if we're going to decline that money from, unless that money comes into the county, we being equal partners, it's not fair, like, we're kind of spiting our nose to cut
Yeah.
out, you know, to say that, oh, everybody else is getting paid for this, and we're not gonna take any money for it. I'm just trying to figure out, can we somehow logistically, if we're overruled, then this becomes the committee's gonna pay for the time. Yeah, you just don't put it on your timesheet, right?
Yeah.
Margaret will oversee that.
Or is it easier that if they do compensate, they just submit it to the county and we just take our normal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that the
Yeah.
easiest thing to do? Like,
I would think, can we guys have compensation to the county paid out, Ellen?
It's whatever council would like to do. I think we can work it either way from our end. I don't know what the board's going to look at. I think the one thing you probably should consider, though, is that there's 10 members. If the other 9 members accept, there will be a requisition from every member
Yeah.
to pay board fees. So if you're not collecting that, somebody else is getting the benefit, but yet you're paying, if that
That's
makes
right.
any sense. So that might be a dilemma down the road. So that might be where you're cutting off, like you say, your nose to the spite of your face, right? So that's the only thing. We can do whatever from our end. We can make whatever work. I don't know tax-wise how that would work, but I would assume it would still be the same 2/3, 1/3. But I would have to look into that to confirm that, because it is a board, a nonprofit board. So I think it would probably still have no tax implications for any of the council members. But other than that, it's up to council what way you want to go. The other option is to wait and see what they do, and then after they do that, make that decision after you voiced your opinion or concern at that level, Glenn, and then go from there.
It's going to come back to the governance committee, and there's 3 of us on the governance committee. I'll certainly, right now, I'm thinking I'm going to vote against it, but I'm thinking for me, the cleanest way, why I really want to have just everything on the county, because my ratepayers can look at it, it's posted. And then, oh, by the way, we got one over here, and I got another. Yeah. Well, what they do, they do, but I'm thinking if it comes back to an Ellen's thing, just gets paid to the county. And if we pay into it, we get our little thing back out of it, and everybody's transparent and above board.
I could see on our monthly report saying, you know, we're at this meeting, it was subsidized by the board at X amount as a parentheses or something like that. No intention of double dipping, just showing that it's paid for. And I think this board's kind of unique because it's a provincial mandate to be there. And I know the feeling from some other municipalities, and I've heard them talk, is, like you said, they don't have compensation set up for it, and it's quite demanding, and it's going to get more demanding. And I think it's very important for these municipalities to be there. And we are obviously supported from our constituents very well, and I appreciate that. Some others aren't, but if they're going to offer it, I think we should still take it and submit it back through the office. And like I said, have it go back to our county coffers, and then just keep our, what we normally do. I'd hate to say, no, we don't want it, because it's subsidized.
If we're paying for it,
Yeah. That makes sense?
Ellen?
So I think, Mr. Chairman, your task is to create a compelling case that they don't go down that road.
Yeah, I'll see
Somehow.
what I can do. I'll let you know how it turns out, and then after we know what's exactly happening, then we'll come back and ask for a motion what we should do with it. Okay. And yeah. And that's all I really had to report. Everybody else is there any questions? I'll move my report as presented. Yeah. Sorry, I can't hear you. It was just on my report, yeah. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Oh, I knew there was stuff here, A, B, and C. I didn't see it on the survey. Deputy Reeves report. Okay, let's go back here. Calgary Metropolitan, that's on the server, I'm pretty sure. I'm just kind of lost here for some reason. There it is. Number 2, there we go. I knew I seen it on here. And the Wheatland Regional Corporation update. Request for decision, national drowning prevention. I'll stop there. Yeah. Karma. Okay, we're not going to proclaim it?
Well, I'm just, what purpose does this serve? Like, we should have a national don't murder your neighbor week, and all this kind of stuff. Like, I'm just, and I'm,
They have weeks for everything.
Yeah. Okay. And request for decision, Strathmore Recreation Facility Development Committee. I can't find that either. 41E. There we go. We talked about it last meeting. I talked to the mayor about it. He thought it was great, so. Well, that's to fill in by the person who makes the motion.
Anybody wanting to sit on it? Tom, okay, so
Division 4. That circle.
I disagree with that personally. Yeah, I mean, I think it could be anyone in, no, but I'm saying if somebody, I mean, I'm the vice president of the curling club in there. That's where I curl. Those facilities affect me just as much as anybody else. So I don't think you limit it to the surrounding 4 by any means.
Well, so far I got one counselor on it, another one, Donna wants on it.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to make a point of clarification. When the town of Strathmore put together this development committee, they didn't consult with Wheatland County. So they've actually only included one member of Wheatland County. So just so that everybody's clear on there, I know what the request for decision, because that was direction of council. So,
Yeah.
so just to be clear, you may only end up with one, but.
Yeah. And when I talked to the mayor of Strathmore, I told him our position, and he said he sees our point, and we would see what happens at the first meeting, I guess. I thought I would hear something back from him, but I haven't, so. But our contention was we were at the last meeting, send 2 and a staff member. This is what this motion is.
I'll move that we appoint Councillor Bigger and Councillor Ickert to the committee and send it to them and see what they say.
But if you name the lacrosse arena what they want to name it, you will be off the committee.
understand it. Because when I grew up in the area, that's where I recreated at. But I am not, I fully understand anybody that's on this board. I am one vote on a board of 7, and that is, and I think everybody going in on that is gonna agree on that. I just, I sort of feel that I'm more, I don't know, not entitled is not the right word, but it's sort of more my stomping grounds, right? So that's why I think I should be there, but.
And the chief administrative officer is in your motion?
Yeah, just as it is, except that there's 2 councillors on it rather than just the one.
Yeah.
Because in here it says division, change it to division 3 and division 4 councillors.
Okay. You accept, Donna?
I accept.
Yeah, okay. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. I'm just gonna ask Margaret or Ellen, I guess. Those other ones, I had a motion for my verbal report, was B, C, and D. Do I need a motion for them individually? Okay. And it's after 12. We have an appointment at 1, so we'll break for lunch. Thank you. Yeah.